Mic check, 1, 2, 3, mic check.
You're just he's going to stay online. You're just on there.
Okay. Well. Yep, I hear you.
Just going to leave it right here.
Both channels. They're going to hammer me for this.
Don't worry about it. You have to do it.
Yeah.
Brady, can you turn that down a bit?
Should be middle computer.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey everybody, your local weather authority meteorologist Zach Hatcher here. We're tracking a potential tornado that could be on the ground. It's here approaching the Lewiston area. It could be there by 3:15 p.m., but that tornado warning is for central portions of Fulton County. You can see the hook there on that storm. That's where you have possible rotation on this. It's headed towards Lewiston where you have around 2,500 people. So Lewiston, make sure to get in your shelter immediately. The most interior room of your home, away from windows, walls, and doors. A basement is ideal if you have one, but make sure that you seek shelter immediately because this was at least once confirmed possibly on the ground. And that's moving off to the east at 30 miles per hour. This tornado warning is going until 3:15 p.m. unless the National Weather Service decides to extend this, which at this point it looks like it's holding its strength. So we'll see what happens with that. But possible tornado with this, damaging winds in excess of 55, maybe even 60 miles per hour. And at one point there was some large hail falling from around just outside of the core of that storm, moving off to the east at 30 miles per hour. Some other locations that could be impacted by this, and I'll time that out for you here as we take a little tool and see where this is headed. So over the next 25 minutes or so, looks like Lewiston 3:15, that's when you could see this possible tornado on your doorstep. Little America at just before 3:30. So somewhat of a rural environment that it's in now, but it keeps tracking off to the east. I'm going to see if there's any new updates on this from the National Weather Service here. And not seeing anything at this point. The hail is at least at 2 inches, which is damaging hail that can cause bodily harm. It's something you want to make sure you seek shelter with for sure. So a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Bernadotte, or 7 miles west of Lewiston. That's moving east still at about 30 miles per hour. I want to show you where the area of rotation is within this with our velocity tool. We can scope that out. Where you see the greens touching the reds there, those bright colors, that's where you have possible rotation in this storm. If you were to look outside, which I don't recommend, you'd see very low clouds and maybe a funnel cloud with that. It's typically what we see with that. Let's take a look at the other velocity tool that we have here to see if there's any more evidence of rotation. Looks like still holding some strength. The rotation is not as strong as it was, but there's still some broad rotation within that. And again, this tornado warning is until 3:15 p.m. It's for central portions of Fulton County. I want to zoom in a little bit closer here. See if we can get some more communities in the range of things. 30 mile per hour ground speed off to the east. So over the next 25 minutes, Lewiston, this is still set to impact you in about 6 minutes at 3:15, maybe a minute sooner depending on the speed of this. Little America about 3:28, Liverpool at 3:32. If it does continue on this path, it'll eventually move into the Glassford, possibly even the Manitou area as it continues its trek off to the east. But so far, I'm going to kind of expand the view here and see if there are any other warnings. I don't see anything. So this is our main storm right now. This is the only game in town. There could be some hail still in this. I'm going to see if there's anything notable Okay, so where you see those pinks and reds, that is very large hail. We can actually get a query on it to see what that, okay, this is indicating baseball size hail, where you get those bright pinks and reds there, right there just south of Smithfield. It's indicating that it's the size of baseballs. You definitely want to seek shelter with that kind of storm, and especially the fact since there's a possible tornado on the ground. At one point at least it was confirmed by the National Weather Service, but this hail core along with the storms moving off to the east still at about 30 miles per hour. That's the ground speed, but keep in mind this contains winds in excess of 55 miles per hour, maybe even closer to 60. This dangerous hail and possible tornado continues to make a path toward Lewiston, Bryant, Liverpool, and maybe even the Canton area. It's not every day you see hail the size of baseballs. That's quite scary, actually, to think about it. But let's look at the velocity again as this changes by the minute. It's our indication of rotation, and whether we have any or not. It looks like there's somewhat of a tight rotation just off to the west of Lewiston, possibly just now entering town. That's the brunt of the storm. And I'm actually going to check again to see if we have any other evidence of turning with the winds there. And this is still warned for a tornado till 3:15 p.m. unless the Weather Service decides to extend this. Okay, it looks like the Cuba area has reported dime-sized hail. That's from Fulton County Emergency Management Agency. So we have dime-sized hail reported and estimated baseball-sized hail, along with a possible tornado that could still be on the ground. We have to treat this like there is a tornado on the ground, because you never know. One could pop up immediately. These things happen so fast. It just in a flash, you have a major problem on your hand. But like I said, this is the only warning that we have for now. It's central Fulton County. No other warnings can be found on the board. But Lewiston, about 3:16 p.m., that's when you need to be seeking shelter, which is in just mere minutes. Little America, 3:29. Liverpool, about 3:33 p.m. The rotation pretty well defined at one point on this storm. We still have somewhat of a turning of the wind signature with those greens and reds touching each other. That's what's indicative of a tornado, or at least a funnel cloud. A lot of rainfall with this too. There's pretty heavy rainfall rates with this storm. So we have all the threats. We have the threat of flash flooding, but we don't yet have any kind of a flash flood warning on this, but it could lead to it. We are in many locations in a flash flood watch. So that's another thing that we got to keep in mind. But seek shelter immediately if you're in central Fulton County, especially Lewiston, because possible tornado is on the ground. You want to get to the most interior room of your home. A basement is ideal. If you're in a business, get into the most interior room as well, away from windows, walls, and doors. Dime-sized hail has been recorded around the Cuba area, and like I just showed you, at one point, and maybe still, there's an estimated hail the size of baseballs. I don't know if you've ever seen baseball-sized hail. That's not anything to mess around with. So be sure you're seeking shelter. Make sure your family is safe. If you have anybody around you that you could notify real quickly, do so. This storm has been warned for at least 15 to 20 minutes now. Going to see if there are any new updates from the Weather Service. Stuff comes in pretty quickly as new information comes in there. Still not seeing anything new. I assume that's a good thing. I'm going to look at the velocity again on this. Still a tight rotation just over Lewiston. This is not a good signature to see where you have the greens and reds touching each other. That tight area of color convergence there, that's where you have the turning of the winds. A possible funnel cloud could be found in that storm. Don't try to see the storm. Make sure you're seeking shelter. But if you do happen to have any storm pictures that you safely took, send them into some of our social media pages, the WMBD page. to show us what you're seeing. But if you cannot safely do that, then don't even try to send in any pictures or video. Still a very dangerous storm, producing hail up to the size of quarters and dimes, maybe even the size of baseballs. Strong winds, damaging winds, still moving off to the east at 30 miles per hour. I'm going to show you again which areas will be impacted by this. You can see that hook right there. That is not a good sign. It's had that hook signature for 15 minutes or so, I believe, and it doesn't look like it's losing any kind of strength. I'm going to do a new pixel query on this to see if our high definition radar will give us any new information. High rainfall rates, anywhere from 2 to 3 inches, are now being found in this storm. So if you're hearing the rain from this, but you're not yet dealing with the high winds, it's on the way, no doubt about that. Let's see here if we take this on out. 30 minutes or so. Bryant, you'll see this storm at 3:23, Little America 3:27. And it looks like that tornado warning was just dropped. Okay, so this is still a very strong storm, but that warning has now been dropped. Let's see if there are any other warnings to find on the map here. It's possible they'll continue this warning if they find any reason to, but right now the threat of the tornado has dropped. You're still dealing with some hail maybe and some damaging winds from 55 to 60 miles per hour. So we're sorry to break into programming for this, but it is what we have to do to save lives. Hopefully everybody stayed in their shelter and this didn't turn out to what it could have been. But thanks for joining us. If this turns out to be another tornado warning or some kind of threatening event approaching a large area of people, then we'll break back on here. But for now, thanks for joining us, and we'll continue right into programming. Oh no.
It's not gonna go back on.
Yes.
It seems very hard. Like you have to just keep talking. Like when you just get off when it's done being a warning.
Yeah. Oh no. They just reissued that warning. I gotta go back on.
Yeah.
That happened within seconds. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. I can wait. I guess I can wait 2 minutes. Oh wait, hang on. Sean's calling. Hey, Sean. No, they said they're in a break right now or something, so it's going to be like a minute or two. Okay. Yeah, if you want to, since he's in there. All right, you're welcome. Bye.
You good? Need some water?
I don't think I have any, actually. That's a good...
I'll get you some water.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Deep breath. Everything's good. We'll get through this.
Yep.
I don't know why they're not on, but you need to be on.
It's going to be like a minute, they said. Are you talking to me? Well, it doesn't look good. Yes. Okay, and I'm going from MBD, and then they're switching to YZZ, right? Okay, do I have to say that they're doing that, or is that just going to happen?
Go on out.
Hang on. Do I tell them that we're switching over to YZZ? Okay.
So just do like your initial cutting on both, and then after you say like the important part, say, you know, we're gonna do this full being on WYZZ, you know, however you want to word that.
Okay.
That way people know exactly what it is.
So it'll be 2 separate cut-ins technically, all in one, and then they'll start the next one.
No, they'll just be simultaneous. So we're going up on both, and then when you push, saying that we'll continue.
So I'll keep talking through it all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool.
Your water's over there.
Okay, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, your local weather authority, meteorologist Zach Hatcher here. Another tornado warning was just issued from the same storm that went through Lewiston. Still has that hook on it. This tornado warning's in effect for till 3:45 p.m. for portions of Fulton, Mason, and Tazewell counties. Still packing a punch. Heavy rain and strong winds still found within this storm. The hail at one point was baseball size. It's still moving off to the east around 30 miles per hour. I want to see if there are any new reports on this. I just saw one come in here, I believe. The Fulton County Emergency Management had deputies reporting in the Lewiston area that at one point there was heavy rain, no hail, and no tornado. And then the next report that came in, the same deputy, or I assume the same deputy, reported extreme winds, wind speed that they're not sure of, but this was 3 miles east of Lewiston. There was also dime-sized hail in the Cuba area, but you need to treat this like there is a tornado on the ground. Seek shelter in the most interior part of your home, away from windows, walls, and doors. Still a strong rotation signature on this. Not the strongest, but it is a strong signature where you have that color convergence there with the greens and reds. We're going to time this out for communities that could be impacted by this over the next 40 minutes or so. Liverpool, you could see this storm in just 3 minutes, so seek shelter as fast as you can. Forest City at 3:49 p.m. and Manitou somewhere around 3:55 p.m. is when you can expect to see this dangerous storm approaching your community. There's a lot of rain within this. There's So far, there's no flash flood warning, but this is the kind of storm with the rainfall rates as heavy as they are that could produce flash flooding, and it doesn't take much for that. Want to see if there's any hail still falling within this. Looks like some very large hail there in the orange color, which that hardly ever pops up. Hail the size of grapefruit, estimated by our high-definition radar. Now, it doesn't mean that it is that size, but that hail is very large. Most likely it's 2 inches in diameter or even bigger than that. But that hail core extends all the way from Lewiston to Liverpool. That's where the brunt of that storm is. Again, that tornado warning in effect till 3:45 p.m. I want to zoom in just a little bit more to see areas, if we can get any more communities on here. Sometimes it doesn't want to show a whole bunch, but yeah, still looks like Manitou around 352, Forest City 347, Liverpool right now is, this storm is taking a trek to your community. This is a very dangerous cell, so be sure to treat this like it is the real deal. At one point, this same cell was moving through central portions of Fulton County and was confirmed, at least for a few minutes. We don't have any reports of damage just yet, but I'm waiting to see if any of them filter in. Looks like nothing new, but if we take a pixel query on this, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Lewiston. This was at 3:16 p.m., so now 15 minutes later, still moving off to the east at 30 miles per hour. There's a possible tornado, hail up to 2 inches in diameter. That's enough to cause bodily harm, harm to roofs, windows, and things of that nature. So if you have a garage, pull your car in until this storm passes through. Don't try to take pictures of this unless you can safely do so from a distance. Don't try to put yourself or your family in harm's way. If you did encounter a picture or video of this, be sure to send it into our social media pages. And again, actually we're going to go over to WYZZ now so we can get the game back on. Thanks everybody for tuning in for this warning on WMBD. Be sure to join us on WYZZ as we continue this tornado coverage. We're still tracking a very dangerous storm in the Liverpool area, moving off to the east. Manitou, Forest City, Topeka, you're all in this tornado warning. Waterford, you're in the southwestern part of this tornado warning. However, it looks like the main part of that storm has moved off. So I believe shortly that warning will be clipped a little bit further to the east, and Waterford and Lewiston will probably be eliminated from that warning unless some other danger presents itself. But the worst of that has already moved off. The Weather Service just has not given you guys the all clear yet. I want to show a broader view here of the high definition radar. That's the only game in town right now. No other warnings are on the board. This one, though, is very dangerous. The rainfall rates are estimated anywhere from, I think, 1 to 2 inches, and we can actually get an estimate on that. And looks like the precipitation rates anywhere from 1.8 to 2 inches of rain an hour. That is enough to cause flash flooding if this keeps up, if that actually is what's happening on the ground. This is our estimate on the radar, but nonetheless, that is a lot of rain along with a possible tornado. So if you're just joining us, tornado warning for portions of Fulton, Mason, and Tazewell counties. There's that hook. It's not as defined as it was, but this is still a tornado warned cell. It's marching off to the east at about 30 miles per hour, so not a slow mover, but it's not moving as fast as it could. There's still somewhat of a rotation signature on velocity, which I'll show you in a minute, but Bryant, looks like you are going to be clipped from this warning in a little bit. Still, you should stay in your safe spot, as well as Lewiston, Liverpool, Topeka, Manitou. You should all be somewhere safe in your home, in the most interior room, away from windows, walls, and doors. And if there was a tornado on the ground and you emerged from your shelter, what's one thing you'd want? You'd want to have shoes on. You don't want to cut your feet on debris, so be sure to do that as well. Put on your shoes, get in your shelter. Manitou, you still have a couple of minutes. The worst of this storm is not actually on your doorstep yet. Glassford, you are just north of the tornado-warned area. You're probably just dealing with heavy rain, maybe some strong winds, and you can't rule out the occasional hail that far up north in the storm. I want to take a look at velocity again. It's been a couple minutes since I looked at that. That bright green color touching that reddish area, that's where we have rotation in this. Now it looks like some more reports just came in from Fulton County Emergency Management, and deputies are reporting trees down, I guess along, it doesn't say along, but near Illinois 100. So I assume trees are down the road on Illinois 100. And they're also reporting some hail from the Lewiston area. Deputies reporting trees in the road near or along Illinois 100. So that's some storm damage that we had so far from this. There could be more, but at this point, that's all we have to work with here. This warning's still in effect for another 11 minutes or so till 3:45 p.m. for Fulton, Mason, and Tazewell counties. What we saw a few minutes, or about 15 minutes ago, is that same cell was warned in portions of central Fulton County. It was dropped, and then the National Weather Service immediately issued it again. So it's holding together. That's the history of this storm. If it continues on this path at the same intensity, it's likely this warning will stay issued as it moves into further southern portions of Tazewell County. But it's not quite doing that yet. But you need to treat this like there is a tornado on the ground. Be sure that you and your family are in the safest spot you can be in your house. Like I said, interior room, away from windows, walls, and doors. It's something that you just don't want to forget. So it bears repeating a couple times in situations like this. But still, ground speed, 30 miles per hour. You don't have much time in Manitou to get in that safe spot. Going to see if there's anything else filtering in here. Get a drink of water. So about 9 more minutes left on this tornado warning. Looks like the worst of this just crossed Highway 24 in eastern portions of Fulton County near Liverpool. Still moving off toward the Manitou area, the Mason-Tazewell County line. Looks like that's where this is going to approach very closely. It's somewhat of a broad rotation, but it's tight enough to where that warning is needed. That's why the National Weather Service did that. We have 2 different velocity tools that still give further evidence that we have a possible tornado on the ground. I'm going to check the hail size again in this, because that's another very dangerous thing that you don't want to get caught in. And we have an estimate of hail the size of baseballs. And even though that's an estimate, that seems pretty believable that it's at least close to that size. So this storm packing a punch, still moving at a pretty good clip. Not seeing any more reports from this other than trees down the road, either along or near Illinois 100. That's what deputies in Fulton County have reported to the emergency management. There were some other hail reports, such as dime-size hail near the Cuba area, also reported from Fulton County EMA. Okay, looks like a couple areas in this just got clipped off. I want to zoom in down here and see. Lewiston, you are no longer in the tornado warning. You can emerge from your shelter. You get the all clear for now, unless some other dangerous storm comes your way. But you have the all clear now. Waterford, you're good. You can come out of your safe spot. Now we're just looking at Liverpool, Forest City, Manitou, and I'm going to check to see if there are any other communities that will be immediately impacted here. Manitou seems to be the primary one, but this is very close to the Tazewell-Mason County line. Going to see actually if there's evidence of debris. There could be some debris, but I'm not seeing a strong signature of that. It's something that we can't rule out, but I'm not seeing a strong enough signature to where I would say that there's debris in the air. It's a close signature, though. It's where you have that isolated yellowish pixel. That's kind of what we're looking at. This could end up just being hail, but usually when this turns a little bit bluer, that's when you start to see that evidence of debris being lofted in the air. It does so at about 15 to 20,000 feet or so, what the radar picks up. But this is probably more indicative of hail, but I'm going to be watching that to make sure that doesn't turn blue, because an isolated blue spot means we have debris being lofted in the air. It also depends on how high up that radar is shooting the beam into the air, but that bears watching. I'm going to keep an eye on that. Looks like some strong winds just went through Liverpool, maybe still going through Liverpool. Topeka's probably experiencing some of those stronger gusts where you have that bright green area. I want to zoom out and see if there are any other warnings. Got to keep track of everything going on here. And right now, that's the only one. I don't see any other warnings. Now, this kind of storm has rainfall rates pretty high up there, where it could produce flash flooding. This is what you call a high precipitation supercell. It's when you have a supercell producing either a hook-like feature and has a lot of moisture in it. It's full of rain, and you can't see this kind of storm. It is rain-wrapped. You don't even want to try to get a visual on that because you're not going to be able to see it. It's so full of rain. It's what we call a high precipitation supercell, just your term for the day. But I want to still check this out and see if this is likely to be extended. Green Valley, this dangerous storm will be near you at 4:06. Forest City, 3:49. Manitou, about 3:52. So Manitou, you have 12 minutes or so, depending on the forward speed, staying at 30 miles per hour. But Lewiston, like I said, you're in the all clear. I know you're probably hearing some thunder and seeing some lightning, but the worst of that's moved off, and most of Fulton County is in the clear, other than that section there, east central portions along Interstate 24, still in that warning. Let's see. The National Weather Service continues that tornado warning until 3:45, so they're keeping their time frame on that, another 4 minutes at least. It's still capable of producing a tornado, and the main part of that cell where the rotation is was located 7 miles west of Manitou and 9 miles northeast of Havana. It's picked up forward speed now. It's moving off to the east at 35 miles per hour. So now we got to do this tool again here and see any areas. So Forest City, 3:45 p.m., Manitou, 3:48. It's going to be there a little bit sooner now because it's now moving off to the east at 35 miles per hour. Green Valley at 4 p.m. So Green Valley, you still have about 20 minutes before this tornadic storm is approaching you. And the latest report has reports of trees down, confirmed, on Illinois Route 100. And this storm produced tennis ball-sized hail at 3:10 near Lewiston. So our estimated hail size tool was pretty close to the real size of the hail, tennis ball-sized hail. That could really hurt if it hits you on the head. It can hurt your pets. Make sure that everybody's inside the home. If you have a garage, pull all your vehicles inside if you can get them in there. That kind of hail can really cause some damage, especially to the siding of your home. Fulton County is getting reports from law enforcement about trees down on Illinois 97, 1 mile north of Lewiston. So we're seeing all these reports coming in. By the way, tennis ball size hail is 2.5 inches. That's the diameter of that. So it's the only tornado warned cell that we have, but it's been producing damage across numerous highways and roads. Tennis ball sized hail. It's picked up forward speed, now moving to the east at 35 miles per hour. If it continues on this trek with the same intensity, it's going to be moving into the Delavan area, and hopefully it does not reach the interstate in all of these communities that have a lot of people in them, such as Pekin. Of course, you're on the northern fringe of this. You're not in it, but it's so close to you. We're going to keep an eye to see what this storm actually does if it goes into further southern portions of Tazewell County. But it's already made it all the way across Fulton County with a tornado warning on it, aside from that 1 minute that the National Weather Service decided to rethink their strategy. But we still have a very volatile storm that we're dealing with this afternoon. According to this warning, it should be expiring in 2 minutes. Let's see if that's what's actually going to happen here. Still a broad rotation signature from both of our velocity tools. I want to check to see if there could be any debris in the air. I don't think I'm not seeing any debris signature or anything worthy of that. I'm just seeing where some large hail is probably falling and mixing in with the rain. Hail size has been no joke at all with that tennis ball sized hail. And let's see what the latest estimate is. Hail the size of grapefruit. So it's all in that general book of sizes. It's a hail producer. With the heavy rain, you can't see that tornado. If you were to try to see that, you would not be able to. It's rain wrapped, most likely. And with the forward speed increased a little bit, if this moves on, let's say, into the Delavan area, if this continues into Delavan, then 413 is when you'll see that. Green Valley 404, Forest City, you have 2 minutes. This is pretty much already in Forest City. Okay, looks like they dropped the warning. So let's see if this is going to be posted again. See if they're saying anything about it. Law enforcement reported thunderstorm wind damage. Numerous trees reported down on Illinois 97. That was relayed by the Fulton County Emergency Management Agency. Golf ball size hail was reported near Smithfield at 3:05. We'd like to see your hail pictures. If you have any, send them into our social media pages, WMBD page, any of our meteorologist pages. We'd like to see what kind of hail you had outside, because this has been a prolific hail producer from what I'm seeing on here. I'm going to just zoom out one more time to see if we have any other current dangers that are worth staying on here for. If that tornado warning continues, then we'll be back on. But right now, I'm not seeing the National Weather Service making an instant decision with that. But that storm continues to move off to the east. It's not tornado warned anymore, but it's still a pretty powerful storm. So if this becomes tornado warned again, or if there's any kind of a danger with a funnel cloud, tornado, anything notable, we'll be back on here. But for now, just thanks for joining us, and we're going to continue to schedule programming. Please.
Defense normally. If he can make some of these plays and move the chains, this team is really good. This whole division is really good. But I can tell you, that's what you need to see out of Kirk Cousins, because they're going to run the football and run it a lot. We're going to tell you how much soon.
Here they go with their base offense, and the Bears put up a wall right past the line of scrimmage, led by Eddie Goldman, maybe a yard. What a start to the season Dalvin Cook's been over 100 yards, over 110 yards all 3 games, and a touchdown in every game. You go back since the start of last December. He had a nagging hamstring injury the first half of last year. Since December 1st, second in rushing, second in total touchdowns and scrimmage yards. Leads the league in rushing by, well, almost 75 yards coming into week 4. Second and 9. And what about Cook? I mean, you've seen all the film all week long when you weren't golfing. And Diggs with the catch.
Yeah, well, this is what you see. Their offense, they're going old school. They're running 3 tight ends, 2 tight ends, and a fullback. And Cook, he's got great vision, great instincts. And Ham, the fullback's playing great. And honestly, they're playing like it's 1970, a lot of this, Jim. And when they get you moving, there's one cut, you hit that gap and you go, and Cook has great vision, great feel, and the ability to make a one-cut backside. You're going to see it all day, and then you'll get a play action randomly here and there.
3rd and 2. Cousins from the pocket completes it for the first down to the Chicago side of the field. He found his rookie tight end, Irv Smith Jr.
And Irv just comes straight across. You got 3 tight ends in the game. That tells you run, run, run. Vikings, same exact thing. We're going to pass it, but Max all over you. Look at that. That ball's got to come out in a hurry. You got to get through your progressions fast.
Smith, who became part of the passing game last week with 4 catches in the win against the Raiders, picks up the first down. Rookie second rounder out of Alabama is Cook. Again is stacked up. Kwiatkowski getting the start today, makes the play for no gain. Back to JB for the update.
Denver with a good start.
That's right. Here's a screen play to number 87, rookie Noah Fant. Check out Noah's arc on this with 2 animals in front of him. They lead the way. 25-yard TD. Denver up 7-0.
Jim Nance, we get that all the time. Noah's arc.
Yeah.
Back to Jim Nance.
I saw what you're doing there, Nate. I like it. Good stuff. Good start for the Broncos, looking for a first win. Here's Cook off 2nd and 10, and again, he's not finding any openings on this first drive of the game in the running game.
Well, this is an impressive Bears defense, and I can tell you their ability to move the line. Watch how, as it comes down the line, they push these guys backwards, and all the way backside, you're going to see Trevathan just come right in and fill the gap.
Hakeem Hicks out with a knee injury suffered in the 4th quarter Monday night. Love what he saw there. 3rd and 10. Deep ball. Cousins for Thielen. And
Hey everybody, your local weather authority meteorologist Zach Hatcher back again. This tornado warning was extended for Logan, Mason, and Tazewell counties and portions of those counties until 4:30 p.m. It's tracked all the way through Fulton County, central portions of that. Now it is moving off into Logan, Mason, and southern parts of Tazewell County. That warning was issued for a possible tornado on the ground, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, and there's already been numerous hail reports up to the size of baseball. So send in your hail photos to us to our WMBD page. I want to show you where that dangerous part of the storm is. That's where you have that hook. It's called a hook echo. It's where you have possible rotation in that storm. It's picked up forward speed over the last 20 minutes. It's now at 35 miles per hour. The speed that it's traveling as it moves toward Delavan and just portions of southern Tazewell County. Now I want to show you where the worst of this is. Wherever you have that color couplet, that color convergence, the greens and the reds, that's where the tornado or funnel cloud is in that storm, and that's where we have it right there, just to the south of Manitou, between Mason City and Manitou. That's where the brunt of that storm is as it continues to move toward I-155 in Tazewell County. There's been new reports coming in from the National Weather Service. We've had reports of trees down on Illinois 100 and County 4. Still waiting on the distance in town for those. And Fulton County law enforcement reports wind damage to crop fields on US 24 and Old Weaver Road. And that was reported by emergency management in Fulton County from law enforcement, what they're seeing out there. We've had reports of tennis ball sized hail, golf ball sized hail, all in Fulton County near Smithfield and around the Lewiston area. And with a new clean sweep here from the high definition radar, this update's pretty much on the minute. Still have that well-defined hook. Now I want to see if there's any debris in this storm. I wouldn't be surprised to see anything or to see any like that, but not seeing a notable debris signature. So we're not sure if this is on the ground or not, but you need to treat it like it is on the ground. Go into the most interior room of your home or business or whatever structure you happen to be in, away from windows, walls, and doors. Get in a basement if you have one. That's always the safest place in the home. And if you have a storm shelter, seek shelter in that immediately. Put your shoes on. You don't want to cut your feet on any glass emerging from your safe spot. There's that hook just to the south of Manitou, moving into southern parts of Tazewell County. It's getting closer and closer to Interstate 155, where we most likely have several people in that vicinity driving. So if you know anybody who's going to be driving through that part of southern Tazewell County or northern Logan County, notify them immediately that a potential tornado is headed right for them, and make sure that they are safe. Now we're going to jump off of WMBD and get the game back on for you guys, but we're going to stay on WYZZ, so join us over on there to get your life-saving information. But as we continue here, a very volatile storm is still tornado warned here. This same cell has been it's been a prolific hail producer, and it's produced numerous reports of damaging winds, damage to crop fields on US 24 and Old Weaver Road. I'm not seeing any more reports. Deputies in Fulton County reported significant damage to fields, but not structures. So possible tornado caused that damage. We can't say that it was tornadic on the ground, but there's a chance that it was. I want to show you velocity again, where you have the turning of the winds. Still a notable signature there. Let's check the other one. And not as impressive, but still there's enough evidence there that that storm's producing some rotating winds. And it's what we call a high precipitation supercell. That means this storm is rain wrapped. You can't see any kind of funnel that there could be on the ground or in the air, because it's just so packed with water vapor and rain. You're not going to be able to see this, so don't try to get a picture of it. Don't try to get a video of it. You're not going to be able to. And that continues to move off toward I-155 heavy spot for people traveling through there. It's going through a lot of relatively populated areas. Over the last couple minutes, I'm not seeing any more reports. I want to put a pixel query on this, which gives us more information from the Weather Service here. This dangerous storm will be near Green Valley around 4 p.m., Delavan and San Jose around 4:10, Emden around 4:20, and Armington around 4:30. These locations include Interstate 155, and it's between mile markers 7 and 20 where you have that tornado warning. It's moving off to the east now at 30 miles per hour, so it's slowed just a little bit, but there's possibly tennis ball sized hail still falling from this. Of course, you have the radar indicated rotation. You want to be sure to seek shelter immediately. Mobile homes could be significantly damaged from this, as well as windows, roofs. Vehicles could sustain any kind of hail damage. You want to be sure to get all your pets out of the yard, because this has been producing very large hail. Let's see if there's any more to report. And it looks like there is, just to the south of Manitoba, baseball-sized hail. Still falling from this, or was falling from this maybe a minute ago, depending on how fast this updates. But this is nothing to take lightly. Be sure to take action. Get your family in a safe spot. I want to zoom this out to see if there are any other storms. What we're seeing basically is just a lot of heavy rain, scattered showers and storms across much of the viewing area. So this tornado warning until 4:30 p.m. is the only dangerous part of the storm as of now, because I'm not seeing any flash flood warnings or anything of that nature. But this is the kind of storm that does produce flash flooding, especially as saturated as the grounds are from all of that rain, the 4 to 8 inches of widespread rain over the last 2 days. Those grounds are very saturated. They can't take any more rain. So if this continues and these rainfall rates are high enough, this could trigger a flash flood warning, but it hasn't yet, thank goodness. That would only add insult to injury. But this warning is for portions of southern Tazewell County, northern Logan County, and soon enough this will be clipped from Mason County, but not yet. The Weather Service still has Manitoba in that storm, in that box. Take a closer look here. San Jose, Delavan, Hopedale, Minier, Emden, Armington, you're all included in this. Here's what you have coming towards you. This well-defined hook echo hooking around there toward the San Jose area, Highway 136. Very dangerous, producing a lot of lightning, rain, high winds, and hail to the size of baseball. Get in your shelter now. This is not a joke. This is the real deal. At one point, this cell was at least confirmed for a little bit when it was in Fulton County, but the details on when and where that was actually confirmed are yet to be released. But this has a history of producing a lot of damage. Let's see. So far, we only have the reports that I mentioned to you. Deputies reporting trees in the road in Fulton County, such as on Illinois 100 and County 4. Law enforcement in Fulton County reported to the EMA that there has been significant damage to crop fields on US 24 and Old Weaver Road. That could be caused by a tornado. It could also be caused by the damaging wind threat that comes with that cell. But Green Valley, you're now in the thick of it, probably seeing the worst right now. San Jose, this continues to move towards you. You have just mere minutes or seconds before this gets to you. So I want to show you at 30 miles per hour forward speed where this is going. Looks like we have, get this back going here. Maybe I need to zoom out a little bit. Bear with me. Okay, so over the next 40 minutes, if this continues at 30 miles per hour off to the east, it'll be near Delavan at 4:14, Armington at 4:39, but San Jose, Emden, Hartsburg, you're all included in this. Minier, you're also in that tornado warning box. So keep in mind that you could possibly see the worst of this storm come to your house or your neighbor's house. You want to be prepared for that. It's been warned for over at least an hour now, I believe. It just continues to keep its strength as it moves off to the east. Seems like it's been moving due east for the last 45 minutes to an hour. Most likely there's some rotation that's close to the ground near San Jose, 6 miles west of San Jose. Could be some rotation on the ground. I want to see what we're seeing here. It is a tight signature. It is definitely a tight signature. I want to double check this. So San Jose, you have a possible rotating cloud coming towards you. We don't know if it's a tornado because it's hard to see this kind of thing when it's rain wrapped like that. But take cover immediately. San Jose, Delavan, Emden, Hopedale, Hartsburg, Armington. You have a very volatile and dangerous storm on your hands. Even if you don't get a tornado, what you're going to get is heavy rain, frequent lightning, and hail up to the size of baseballs. That's very large hail that can cause significant damage to homes, siding and roofs of homes. And just to make sure we're not missing out on anything else, I'm taking a sweep here to make sure there are no other warnings, and I'm not seeing any. This one's going until 4:30 p.m. So the Weather Service has enough evidence of this that it should be continued another 25 minutes or so. Okay, we have a new report that just came in from Emergency Management in Tazewell County. There was at least 1 or 2 wind gusts of 50 miles per hour 5 minutes ago, 4 p.m. Heavy rain and reduced visibility. That's a sign that there could be a tornado headed right for you. So be sure to get in your safe place, away from windows, walls, and doors. Get in the most interior room of your home or building, or if you're at work, do so there. Wherever you're at, make sure you're away from all the windows, walls, and doors. In the lowest floor of your home, basement is ideal. If you have a storm shelter, get into that as quickly as possible, because this storm has a possible funnel cloud with it based on what I'm seeing here, and it could be actually a tornado on the ground or about to be on the ground. This is nothing to take lightly. Still moving due east at 30 miles per hour or so, give or take a few miles per hour, getting very close, frighteningly close to I-155 on the Tazewell and Logan County line. That's exactly where this is continuing on toward. You have that hook echo feature, a lot of rain in this. This is a classic high precipitation supercell. You're not going to be able to see that funnel cloud. It's going to rush upon you pretty quickly without any warning, if you were not already warned, that is. So you want to make sure to take the proper action. Looks like Manitou will be clipped from that warning here shortly, as the worst of that storm just went past your community, but the Weather Service still has you in that warning. You will be in the clear very shortly, people in Manitou. I want to zoom in a little bit closer here to show you where that possible tornado is in real time. So if there is a rotating cloud, a funnel cloud, or a tornado, San Jose, you're going to see that or get very, very close to that in the next minute or so. This is a very, okay, it's hooking even more now. This isn't good. You're starting to see where if there was a tornado, it would be right there, just to the northwest of San Jose, near Highway 136. And this is still moving off to the east. Very dangerous situation. You don't want to play around with this. Delavan, you're in that too. Hopedale, you're also in that tornado warning. This is going until 4:30 p.m. And like I said, it was issued for portions of Logan, Mason, and Tazewell County. Let's see if Manitou was clipped from that warning as we zoom it back out here. Okay, no, Manitou, you're still in it, but you'll be clipped from that shortly. You're almost in the clear, but just not yet. All right. Getting closer to I-155, I want to take a very close look at the rotation here. strong rotation signature on this. And if there's any debris lofted, then we would see it on here, most likely. Not really seeing any evidence of debris. New sweep of radar doesn't really show that. What you would see, if there was any debris being lofted into the air, you would have an isolated bluish pixel away from all this mess, and it would be just isolated from that. That would be the indication that trees and 2x4s are being lofted into the air, and that would be what we would have with a tornado on the ground. But I'm not seeing that. However, that can happen in a flash. So I'm going to keep monitoring that very closely. Manitou, you still haven't been clipped from the warning, but the worst of that, Forest City, also the same case, has already went past you, but you're about to be in the clear. We've had thunderstorm wind damage reported of thunderstorm wind gusts reported of 50 miles per hour at 4 p.m. 3 miles west of Green Valley in Tazewell County with heavy rain and reduced visibility. That's that cell that we're looking at, the center of the screen there. That's what's causing all that mess. We've had Tazewell Emergency Management also reported 50 mile per hour wind gusts at Toboggan and Wagon Cellar with just 20 feet visibility. That's what you get with this kind of situation. You're not going to be able to see it, so don't try to take a picture or video of it. Just make sure you're in your safe place, whether it be the lowest floor of your home or a storm shelter. Besides the possible tornado, it carries numerous other threats such as hail the size of tennis ball, golf ball size hail. Somewhere in that realm, you have the possibility of seeing that kind of hail. That's very damaging. That can hurt you. It cause bodily harm. It can hurt your pets. Be sure to get everybody and all your furry friends inside the home because this has been a very dangerous supercell. Still tornado warned, getting very closer to I-155. Now this is terrible to see a signature like this almost curved around all the way where you have that little indentation there in the hook. That's where you might have some rotation approaching ground level or could be already on the ground in the form of a tornado. It's moving at 30 miles per hour. You don't have much time though to get in your safe place. If you're in Emden or Hopedale, the worst of this is packing a punch just off to the west of you, getting closer to that I-155 corridor. This is not a good situation at all. Looks like significant damage was reported to crop fields on US 24 and Old Weaver Road. That one looks like that report got circulated again there. As of 4:09, that tornado warning still set to expire at least at 4:30. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near San Jose, which I've just been showing you there, which is receiving the worst of this storm now, or 8 miles northeast of Mason City. It's picked up ground speed again now at 35 miles per hour. So we have to retime this out again with our tornado tracking tool. Every time it picks up speed or loses speed, we have to see what it's doing here. 436 Armington, this very serious storm will be approaching your neighborhood. So you have just minutes to think about what you're going to do. And you have about 20 minutes or so to get into that safe spot. Minier, also the same case, about the same distance there. It continues to stay hooking around. This is not what I want to see at all. It's a classic hook echo signature, which would be showing us where a tornado would be if there is one on the ground. I'm not seeing any more reports that we have one on the ground, but treat it like that. I want to see how far this is from Interstate 155, and I'll use my distance tool here. This is how much time you have, just mere minutes, if you live on the edge of I-155, less than 7 miles from you now, moving off to the east. It's almost there. So if you know anybody that's going to be traveling in that area, tell them to not do that. Make sure that everybody's safe. Make sure all your family knows the situation with this. If somebody's not keeping an eye on the weather, just make sure they know, because this could be a tornado on the ground, and if it's not now, it could end up producing one. It has history of producing a lot of hail with this, up to the size of golf balls, baseballs, you name it. It's produced it. Large hail with it, wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour estimated by radar. It's produced damage to crop fields, significant damage to crop fields, and also put trees down across Illinois 100 and County Road 4. So there it goes. It's still moving. I think that this needs to be updated again. Just a sweep of the radar will show this moving a little bit closer, but less than 7 miles now. You could pretty much say this is about 5 miles from Interstate 155 on the Tazewell and Logan County line. Just a second here. All right, so let's see what the velocity is doing. It's a harsh signature, and that one is too. Now, I hope there's not debris being wafted in the air. It's kind of hard to tell. You do have some bluish colors near just to the northeast of San Jose, to the northwest of Emden. It's not as isolated as what you would typically see with a debris signature. So I'm keeping an eye on that. But if there is a tornado on the ground, then get in your safe spot immediately, but treat it like there is one. Still the only warning on the map, I believe. I've got to zoom out to make sure I'm not missing anything. A lot of heavy rain affecting areas along and north of I-74. No flash flood warnings yet, but I anticipate that there could be one before the night's over, because many counties are in a flash flood warning. This tornado warning is going until 4:30 p.m. still for parts of Mason, Logan, and Tazewell counties. I wonder if there are any towns that have been clipped from this. So Manitou, you're not in any kind of immediate danger from this. You are still in the tornado warning, but that dangerous storm has passed on by you. So the Weather Service will take you out of that warning shortly, maybe a couple minutes before they do that. This is dragging closer and closer to I-155. You see it's going over a lot of rural area, just to the south of Delavan, just now to the east of San Jose, and getting closer to Emden. Hopedale, you're also in that. So with the latest sweep of the radar, this continues to update on the minute. Even though the National Weather Service doesn't always produce new reports every minute, we still see what goes on every minute in real time with this radar. A classic hook echo on this storm, still moving off to the east at about 30 to 35 miles per hour, about to impact the I-155 corridor. If there is a tornado on the ground, it's going to impact a lot of people driving. Hopefully they're not driving in this area and they're in a safe spot, but it's so close here. It's just not what I want to see. And it's not how you want to spend your Sunday either. I'm sure everybody's trying to relax and have time to do whatever they want to do, and this isn't ideal. So we try to keep track of what's going on and keep you safe and your family, but until this warning expires, we're going to stay on here because I'm not liking what I'm seeing. Manitou, Forest City, you're no longer in that storm. Still warned for a tornado, but that's going to be dropped soon. San Jose, you're still dealing with the outskirts of this. Hartsburg, you're on that line there near I-155. Minier, keep in your safe place. Armington, Hopedale, stay situated where you are if it's a safe spot. If you have time to reach a safer area, do so. That would be the most interior room of your home or business, away from windows, walls, and doors. You want to be on the lowest floor of your structure, no matter what kind of structure you're in. Lowest floor. Basement is ideal. If you have a storm shelter, then do that. But here comes this dangerous hook toward Emden and I-155. At least this storm has produced at least one report that it was confirmed, but we're not sure exactly what location that it was just yet. We're keeping an eye on that. I'm going to see if there's any updated information. Okay, so this isn't good. Tazewell County Emergency Management reports a rapidly rotating wall cloud 1 mile west of Springfield Road and Litweiler. It's moving east. Okay, so this storm has a wall cloud with it, which means there could be a funnel cloud dropping any time from this that could touch the ground. It's been holding its steam for so long. It's been keeping that intensity. It's now producing a wall cloud that's rotating. That wall cloud is basically the lowering in the cloud of that thunderstorm, which rotates and produces the tornado. So if there is a tornado, it's going to be dropping from that. And that's from Tazewell County Emergency Management. Take this a little bit closer here. Highway 136 is getting pummeled by this storm near Emden and Delvin. I-155 is in its crosshairs in just a couple minutes. This could be expiring at 4:30, but its history has had it going for over an hour now. So we're going to see what happens with that. So still about 10 more minutes or so on this storm. Manitou, Forest City, you can come out of your safe place now. They just haven't clipped you from this warning yet, but I'm giving you the all clear because you're not in any kind of immediate danger anymore. So be sure to just emerge from your shelter whenever you find the convenience to do so. Storm report 1 mile northwest of Knoxville. Looks like some heavy rain, an inch or so in the past 5 hours. So we're seeing these storms produce a lot of rainfall. And with the ground is saturated as it is, it can't take anymore. So a lot of rain's not going to take much to produce flash flooding. Looks like a little bit of a donut hole here, which is usually what you would see if there was a tornado on the ground. Let's check that out really closely. There might be something on the ground. If it is, it's just to the north of Emden or right there in Emden, depending on the placement of this from what our radar sees and what it is in real life. It would be right there just to the southeast of Delvin, moving to the east at about 30 miles per hour to I-155. A donut hole is the last thing I'd want to see on here. But like I just mentioned, the worst report so far from this is there's a rapidly rotating wall cloud, which I'm showing you there just to the south Delvin, but that's what Tazewell County Emergency Management reported, and I'm seeing evidence of that on radar. So we're in a dangerous situation. It's also producing a lot of lightning strikes. Manitou, like I said, you can come out of your safe place because you're no longer in the danger. Forest City, same for you. Green Valley, you still have a couple minutes before it's safe to come out. Some other areas that are on the outskirts of this, Tremont, you're not in this tornado warning, but you are in the same storm that's producing that tornado, so just keep an eye on things. Mackinac, same for you. Danvers, Stanford, it continues to march off to the east. Seeing if I can get any new information from within our system here. The spotter reported rotation 6 miles west of San Jose. Of course, that's now moved through there already, but you're still in the warning. But that's what we're seeing. It's holding its strength as it continues off toward I-155, which it'll be there in minutes. This includes the area between mile markers 7 and 20 on I-155, according to the National Weather Service. Okay, so we've had some areas clipped from this. Delavan, San Jose, Green Valley, no worries. You're out of this now, so you can come out of your shelter. Hopefully you come out to no damage being done. But if you do have any damage, send the pictures into WMBD's Facebook page, any of our social media pages. We want to see what you have in your yard, what happened. We hope everybody's safe. But now, looks like the Weather Service is continuing this till 4:30 still, just like we thought. and if it keeps this rate up, it'll be extended all the way into McLean County. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Okay, the newest scope here on the radar, still somewhat of a hook echo, and all right, that's not what we want to see. So the signature of the rotating winds has tightened. So we're seeing that tighter convergence of the greens and reds right there just to the north of Emden. That's kind of where we have that rotation in the clouds, that wall cloud that was reported from that storm. That's the worst of it, getting so close to I-155, just pretty much seconds. That's what you want to consider this, just seconds away from getting there. Hopefully you're in your safe spot. Hopedale, you need to be thinking about getting in there ASAP. Armington, same. And this has produced a lot of hail as well. The hail size looks like it's coming down a bit, but still large hail being reported north of Emden, the size of maybe golf balls or hen eggs, however you want to look at it. But get into the lowest floor of your home or building, away from windows, walls, and doors. Get all the kids and everybody in there, because this storm is the real deal. You need to treat this like it's the real deal. At 4:22, just 2 minutes ago, tornadoes still radar indicated, hail almost the size of 2 inches, and it's from this storm that I'm showing you. It's still moving at the same speed on the ground at 30 miles per hour, probably the winds within that storm gusting up to 60 miles per hour. It's riding just along Highway 136, so if you know anybody in that path there, in that rural area between Emden and Armington, make sure that they know what's going on. And nobody needs to be driving in this. You need to be situated. Had to get a drink of water there. Okay, let's see if there's any debris being lofted in the air. I'm not seeing any evidence of debris in the air. There is a little isolated pixel there in green. If that turns blue, we'll know that there's something going on. So I'm going to be watching that, because if that turns blue, that's indicative that there's 2x4s or trees or parts of fences being thrown up into the air from that tornado, if there is one on the ground. That's getting very close to Hopedale, that signature is. So we're watching that. That's not a debris signature, but it's very close to what would be considered that. The warning's still going for another 4 minutes. Still has a well-defined hook on it. It's getting a little muddled there, but a little messy. But nonetheless, there could still be some rotating cloud either in the air or approaching the ground or on the ground. We've had reports of trees down on Illinois 100, and if I scroll back through the list, trees down in County 4 in Fulton County. And we've had hail the size of, we've had it all. Hail the size of dimes in Cuba. We've had baseball-sized hail. We've had tennis ball-sized hail. And it just keeps going. There's no sign of this storm slowing down. The worst of this now is on the heels of I-155. Now, I got to zoom in really close here to show you that. Just passing through Emden as of now. I'm hearing the heavy rain. Okay, so here we go. This is kind of what we don't want to see. This is a very tight signature with those rotating winds in the air, where you have that really bright green touching that isolated red. That's where you might have some rotation. Just to the east of Emden, riding along Highway 136, crossing I-155, probably right now as I speak, or just in a minute. That's where that's going. You have some strong winds embedded in that, up to 60, maybe even 65 miles per hour. We haven't had any reports of that, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had wind gusts reported over 60 miles per hour. Of course, we've had heavy rain reports across other parts of the area, such as Knox County, but nothing new just yet. But I am watching that signature very closely because that's a tight signature, and it's pretty much in the spot where you would find. Okay, so there we go. So there might be two areas of rotation in this. That would be right here, just north of 136, and right along 136. Could be two areas of rotation there. We know of one for sure, but that's another one to watch. It's a somewhat indicative of that. Let's see if this has been extended. Okay, so it's not. So there could be two areas of rotation. You don't want to find out the hard way if you are in that area of rotation or not. So get in your safe spot. Make sure everybody's situated and just ride this out. We'll get through this together. We do this to save lives and keep you informed. Not seeing any other warnings yet, which is great news. I hope there's not another warning, but there's a cell moving through Fulton County. Let's see if there's anything on that. Okay, that one might be okay. Just some heavy rain, maybe some hail in that. No hail in that. Okay, so just some heavy rain moving through areas between Lewiston and Havana, moving closer to Mason County. So this is still the only game in town right now. Okay, that warning was just expired. Now, the last two times it was expired for 2 minutes, and it came back a minute later, as soon as I jumped off here. So let's see if the National Weather Service has reason to extend that warning, because they just canceled it. At one point there was some rotation, maybe producing a wall cloud in this, according to a spotter that they believe they saw that wall cloud. And there's still a sign of rotation in this on our end. It's just not as impressive. Okay, it was just continued, so till 5:15 p.m. So we got another 45 minutes of having a potential tornadic storm producing a tornado on the ground. It's for portions of Logan, McLean, and Tazewell County. Excuse me. Let's look at the areas impacted by this after their latest thinking from the Weather Service here. A confirmed tornado was located 2 miles east of Emden, or 10 miles north of Lincoln. It's moving east at 25 miles per hour. So there's a damaging tornado on the ground and golf ball sized hail. According to the National Weather Service, a damaging tornado on the ground and golf ball sized hail. It's from this signature here, this hook echo. It looks a little bit muddled from what it was, but it's still moving off to the east, a little bit slower now, moving at 25 miles per hour, which gives you just maybe a couple extra minutes to get into your shelter, but it's confirmed. This area of rotation here is confirmed east of Emden, tracking toward Armington, Atlanta, McLean. You're all included in that tornado warning until 5:15 p.m. So with a confirmed tornado on the ground, this is the chance to make sure you save your life and your family's lives. Make sure you get everybody inside, get all the pets in the house. This has produced a lot of hail with this as well. So even if you don't get a tornado, you're likely to get heavy winds and maybe even some large hail the size of baseballs. It's continuing to pack a punch. It's riding right along Highway 136, where there's probably plenty of homes in this area. It's a rural area, but still plenty of people live out there. So take this seriously. It's confirmed. Your house, make sure that everything's good, because this could cause damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles. Damage is likely. The tornado will be near Armington around 4:45 p.m., Atlanta around 5 p.m., and McLean around 5:10 p.m. This is a serious, serious situation. We don't know exactly what kind of a tornado this is. We just know it's on the ground. Want to take the velocity scan on this, or it's a little bit, it's a little muddled because it's closer to the radar, but that area of rotation is right along Highway 136. Take another scan here. So we're seeing that color couplet. It's closer to the radar, so it's not picking up as vividly as it could, but there's enough evidence there that that tornado is on the ground. And that's from that rotating wall cloud that moved near Springfield Road in Tazewell County in Litweiler. That's the same storm. It's moved through Fulton County, and now it's coming into southwestern parts of McLean County. I want to see if there's any debris being lofted in the air. There could be some, not really showing up here, but if there's a tornado on the ground, there is one, then there's some kind of debris being lofted. So take cover immediately. This is a serious situation. You don't want to find out the hard way if you were in the path of this. You can see the scope of this storm. It's for Logan, McLean, and Tazewell counties until 5:15 p.m. So another 40 minutes of this. Another 40 minutes until this danger is gone from the area, unless the National Weather Service continues this. We've had numerous reports of hail, strong to damaging wind gusts. There's been damage to crop fields from this. We've had a little bit of everything. So hopefully you're not part of any damage report, but if you have any damage reports or pictures, send them on to our Facebook pages, WMBD page, our meteorologist pages. We want to see what you have in your yard. If you have any trees down, if you know of anything that happened from this, send them in, because this tornado is now confirmed and moving along Highway 136, continuing to track toward Hayworth. It's not quite in the warning yet, but this history has it just continuing to go until it runs out of steam, which it is only done once, and then it powered back up again. Atlanta, Armington, Hartsburg, you're still in this tornado warning. Want to check the tracker tool here. Zoom it back a little bit further to see exactly the scope of what we have going. Still seeing evidence of rotation that's reaching the ground. Taking this all the way out to the edge of the tornado warning. McLean, you're likely to see this storm about 5 o'clock. So you do have some time. You want to make sure you use that time wisely. A chaser reported a tornado at 4:23 in Emden in Logan County. So we had 2 reports now that the tornado's on the ground. It was reported by a chaser, and the National Weather Service is now notifying us of that. This is the real deal, and you need to treat it like it is, like it's life or death. Let's check to see if any debris is being lofted in the air on here. Not really seeing a strong signature of that, which is good, but there's definitely something being lofted in the air, as we have reports of a tornado now. It was near Emden, but now it's just moving into Armington. It'll be moving into Atlanta, McLean, riding along Highway 136. So if you're traveling on Highway 136 between Emden and McLean, I say get into your safe spot immediately. You don't want to be driving in this. You don't want to be outside. You don't want to be near a window, a wall, or door. I want to also check the hail size in this, because this has been producing very large hail. Try that again. Quarter-size hail still falling from this storm, so it's not as large of hail as we've had, but still producing large hail from this. And thanks everybody for joining in. If you're just now joining us, tornado warning for Logan, McLean, parts of those counties, parts of Tazewell County till 5:15 p.m. We're not out of the woods just yet. This storm continues to cause damage and travel at about the same speed toward the east. It hasn't even changed direction. So it's going eastbound on Highway 136. It just crossed I-155, but now it's getting closer to southwestern parts of McLean County and also Highway 55. So it's crossed one interstate corridor, now moving toward another one. So another hugely populated area there in McLean County, parts of Atlanta. This storm's moving towards you. Take it seriously. Go into the lowest floor of your home, away from windows, walls, and doors. Get in a storm shelter. If you have one, that's ideal, but not everybody has one. Go in a basement. Just make sure you're safe, because this, as last check, was confirmed and on the ground riding along Highway 136 eastbound between Hartsburg and Armington. That's where the worst of that cell is. It's been hooking around for, it seems like, an hour now. It's a very powerful storm. It's not playing any kind of game with us. So be sure to treat this like life or death. Until that rotation seizes up a little bit, we're going to consider this on the ground. I'm going to see if we have anything new on this. So far, we've had a storm chaser reporting that the tornado was there in Emden, and that's continuing on its path there. We've had reports of the rotating wall cloud, which is that cloud that spins below the main part of the thunderstorm. That's what's produced the tornado. It's full of heavy rain, but there's no flash flood warning as of yet. So Armington, you're getting pounded with rain, probably high winds as well, frequent lightning. You don't want to try to see this. It's going to be rain wrapped, most likely, so you're not going to get a visual on this, even though there's still some daylight left. Don't even try it. Hopedale and Stanford, you're not in the warning. You're on the northern part of it, just on the outskirts of it, so no worries there. Manitou, San Jose, Delavan, Glassford, Mason City, New Holland, you all are fine. But the areas we're worried about include Armington, McLean, Atlanta. Take it a little bit closer here to pick up any more communities. Those are the main ones showing up, but still traveling right along 136, getting very close, dangerously close to highway or to Interstate 55 near McLean and Atlanta, where that warning is still valid till 5:15 p.m. Checking the winds again to see what we have here. If we have anything. Still have evidence of rotation. It's just not as strong, but there still could be a tornado on the ground. This is likely to continue on its path until it runs out of instability or steam, as we've seen this go all the way from Fulton County. Now it's getting closer to McLean, Hayworth, and Bloomington. However, this track doesn't take it into Bloomington unless it switches up directions a little bit more to the north and east, because Bloomington's here, I-155's here, and then at Armington, you're in the crosshairs of this now, moving into McLean. So McLean, you need to get in a safe spot, as well as Atlanta, there on the I-55 corridor. This is a heavily traveled piece of interstate here. So this is not anything to take lightly. Make sure that you are doing all that you can to stay safe, as well as your loved ones. Get any pets from the yard, bring them inside. This has produced hail up to the size of baseballs, quarters, hen egg, and golf ball size hail. So the whole spectrum of hail sizes, we've pretty much had it from this storm. Reports of crop fields damaged, as well as trees down on several highways in parts of Tazewell County. That's the threat that we're dealing with as it travels dangerously close to McLean. If we expand the view, there are other cells in the area. None of them have warnings on them. And toward Lake and Pontiac, we're mainly just dealing with heavy rain, that heavy rain threat. So we have that flash flood watch in place. But this is our notable feature on radar as of now. Confirmed tornado on the ground. Not sure if it's still on the ground, but at one point it was, because a spotter reported that to the Weather Service. Let's see if we have anything else. There's been a lot of stuff coming in from this. Checking my computer here. Check around Armington. Still as of 4:30, 4:29, a confirmed tornado was located 2 miles east of Emden. If it's still confirmed, it's traveled a pretty good distance now, more than 10 miles at least. And it's has a golf ball sized hail with it. Keep in mind that debris from this could make it into your yard, it could damage your home, it could hurt you. So take this all into consideration as you're getting into your safe spot. See if the winds are still pretty powerful. We still have that signature kind of near Armington, not as well defined, but it's enough to keep this warning going. So there still could be some rotation just to the southeast of Armington, right there along Highway 136. Let's see how close this is to Interstate 55. I'm going to use my distance tool. So about 7.5 miles, maybe a little bit less than that, because it's continuing to travel as I speak. But this heavily traveled piece of interstate here, this section within the tornado warning between Atlanta and McLean, that's where this storm is headed towards. So if you live in that area, make sure to do the right thing. So continuing off to the east at about 25 miles per hour, almost on a straight line. It's almost as if it's driving down Highway 136. So since it's slowed down to about 25 miles per hour, it gives you a couple extra minutes or so to make that move. It was traveling much faster about 30 minutes ago. It was moving at 35 miles per hour. So that's about how far it is now from I-55. McLean, you're included in that warning. It's headed to southwestern parts of McLean County. So no new information yet from this. We're still considering this confirmed until we hear otherwise, because it was on the ground at one point. We don't know what kind of a tornado it was or still is, but we need to treat it like it's a very dangerous situation. It'll be near McLean at 5:10, Atlanta at 5 o'clock, and Armington, it's there now. So you don't have any more time, Armington. You're in this. Hopefully you're listening to us from a basement or the most interior bathroom or such in your home. This warning's still going for another 30 minutes till 5:15 p.m. Emden, you're no longer in any kind of danger. You can come out of your shelter. Hartsburg, you can come out of your safe spot. You get the all clear. We're now keeping our attention from Armington all the way to McLean. I really hope this doesn't continue on that eastward trek, because then it's going to make it due south of Bloomington, in Hayworth, Downs, Waynesville, Wapella. You could all be in the crosshairs from this if it continues on its path that it has been. I'm going to zoom out and see if we have any more dangerous storms, because we do have some cells to watch. No warnings yet. Let's check this out and see what's going on here. Near Liverpool and Havana. Might have some strong winds there, but it's not warned for anything. We have another one that bears watching. in DeWitt County. It's now showing that evidence of a hook near Weldon and Goose Creek, which that's how that first storm started. I hope this doesn't follow the same example. I'm going to check that out. Just very broad rotation. I'm going to be watching that, though. That could be our next problem. But it's moving off toward the east, so if it does become a problem, it's not going to be for very long. So McLean, this will be in your yard, in your community, very shortly, just minutes away. You don't have any time left. Still traveling eastbound on Highway 136. I'm checking all my boundaries and parameters. I still see where we could have a tornado on the ground just to the east of Armington, where you have that brighter green. The storm has been no joke. And that storm near Havana, I'm also watching that one. I'm seeing reports coming in from the Weather Service saying that could probably be one to watch, and I definitely agree with that. Let's check this one out here near Beardstown. It doesn't seem like anything. Hopefully it doesn't turn into anything. Okay, so really we're just going to keep our focus here until I see otherwise for this storm. Now, Emden, you're no longer in any kind of danger. You can come out of your storm shelter. Hartsburg, same for you. Hopedale, you're not in this. You're on the just north of it, so you don't have to be contained anywhere. McLean, you don't have any time left. This is coming very close to I-55 in southwestern parts of McLean County. I think this is going to be continued even further, but I don't know for sure. See if we have any debris in the air. Get a little better view here. Okay, so this is what I was talking about a little while ago, where you have that bluish color kind of isolated from all this mess right here. That's where we might have some debris being lofted into the air. It doesn't mean that there is, but this tells me that might be happening. And with a confirmed tornado on the ground at one point, and could still be confirmed, that's our area to watch there, north of McLean. And in real life, it could be shifted a mile or so, maybe 2 miles from that actual signature. So this whole area needs to be watched, but that just tells me that somewhere in that storm there could be 2x4s or trees or maybe a part of your fence being thrown into the air. Also, some large hail with that. And everybody, thanks for bearing with us too through all this. Just try to do what we can to keep you safe. So that really does look like a debris signature to me. I think that tornado is still on the ground, whether it'll be on the ground in 5 minutes or not. It tells me that there's something being thrown into the air here, north of McLean, north of Highway 136, getting so close to I-55. This is why we tell you to get in your shelter and take the necessary actions, because you want to be sure to keep your family safe. This debris can really hurt you, or worse, if you encounter that. So let's see from that if there's anything else going on here. Okay, so this warning has been modified a little bit. Armington, you are no longer in any kind of immediate danger. You still have maybe some gusty winds and some. Getting reports that the tornado is still on the ground or recycled, but it's still on the ground. It's been observed, and it was indicated 5 miles northeast of Atlanta. It's moving off to the east-northeast at 25 miles per hour, so it's starting to change direction just a little bit, still sticking with that 25 mile per hour speed, but 5 miles northeast of Atlanta, so it's right here, pretty close to McLean. Let's see here. It's very close to McLean. So that debris signature that I was showing you, that's verified now. We have stuff being thrown into the air. Hopefully that you're not seeing this storm, but if you hear it, if you're in this warning, you know what to do. Take a look here at the, definitely have that signature for some rotation. It's just not as clear as it once was because it's closer to the radar. So when that happens, you have to look at this, where you have that blue signature showing up, that isolated bluish green little pixel. That's where we have this debris on the ground. We're also going to cut back into the other station, back to WMBD as we continue to track this, but this is moving off to the east at about 25 miles per hour. We're going to throw this back to, we're going to be on both networks. Oh, we're going to be on WYZZ. Sorry. Making sure I get everything right here. We're going to be just on WYZZ as we continue to track this. Still a very dangerous situation. McLean, hopefully you're in the safe spot. So I'm going to see if there's any more reports coming in. That tornado was observed 5 miles northeast of Atlanta. It's most likely crossing I-55. It's a terrible situation. And moving along Highway 136, just kind of give you that vantage point. Now, it doesn't look like it's hooking around that hook echo. It's not as defined, but that doesn't mean anything in some situations because this is still curved enough, and we have that rotational signature where that tornado is on the ground. But for Tazewell County, the warning has been dropped. So if you're in Tazewell County and you were in the warning, you can emerge back to whatever you were doing. You get the all clear. Armington, you as well. You're included in that. Still checking to see. We still have that debris signature somewhat showing up there. Hail is still most likely in this storm. Checking the size of it. Hail the size of quarters estimated from our system here, and most likely that's true at ground level as well. This is going to continue for another 20 minutes or so. This tornado warning is not expiring until 5:15 p.m. with that confirmed tornado on the ground. This is the real deal. Make sure your kids are in the house, your family's safe at home or in the whatever building you're in. Maybe it's at work. Hopefully, if you're at home, you're listening to us from a basement. That's the ideal case, or from a closet or maybe a bathroom. Another warning just popped up. I'm going to take a look at that here. We zoom this out a bit. So this cell that I was talking about in DeWitt County, right over Weldon, shows a little bit of a hook there. Severe thunderstorm warning for DeWitt County till 5:45 p.m. I just wanted to point that out real quick. But I know that a lot of people probably are not watching from there, but just another thing to keep in mind. So these storms, it's not just this one that I've been showing you for over an hour and 20 minutes or so now. There's other storms that are starting to show signs of power and strengthening a little bit. So we have that scattered cell activity. And I want to show you all those cells on the map just briefly. So you have that warning there in DeWitt County. You have that tornado warning for southwestern McLean County and northeastern Logan County. And all these cells around it here, such as near Havana, contains heavy rain, of course, but also bears watching for any kind of strong winds near Beardstown, just east of there, Macomb, isolated activities. So there's a lot to watch here to keep account of. But thank goodness that nothing else serious is happening. And we'll get through this together. Let's take a pixel query on here to see what's going on possibly within the storm. So, like I said, weather spotters confirmed a tornado near Emden at 4:23. This is the same one. So Emden's way off to the west there along Highway 136. Now this continues its eastward, northeastward trek towards Bloomington. I think Bloomington will probably dodge the worst of it. We're keeping track of it very closely, though. Bloomington Normal is a heavily populated area. Hopefully it doesn't go through there, or hopefully this storm will just dissipate and we don't have any trouble anymore, but that's not the case. Checking my computer real quick. See if we have anything new. But with that cell in DeWitt County, the Weather Service indicates a possible tornado. So I just want to drag this over here just real quick. So if there is a tornado in this, it's right over or just east of Weldon, where you have that hook feature. But it's not as strong as the main show that we've been watching here. So let's zoom back in here. You can't see this. It's wrapped in rain, most likely. This is what we call a high precipitation supercell. It's so full of water vapor and moisture with this heavy rain, strong downdraft of rain. You're not going to be able to see it. Don't try to take a picture of it. Don't try to take a video of it. You have any storm damage pictures, send them our way to our WMBD page or our meteorologist pages. We'll take a look at it. We want to see what you had to deal with. We want to see pictures and videos, if you could safely get them, or the aftermath of it. We want to see if you had any trees down. Whatever you have, just send them our way. But McLean, this is right over you now, right along that I-55 corridor, the worst of this storm, which is still, to my knowledge, a confirmed tornado. Whether it's still on the ground or not is to be determined, but at one point it was on the ground, so we're going to keep it that way. We're going to say that it's still on the ground. I think it bears looking at, though, again with the wind. Yeah, there's definitely still showing some signs of rotation. I think this is going to be continued again. We're getting closer to that expiration time for this, and some areas have already been in the clear from this. They just haven't been clipped from the warning, such as Atlanta. Most likely, they're going to drag that warning box a little bit further east to cover more portions of I-55 in southern McLean County. It's possible this continues all the way to Hayworth. Bloomington will probably dodge this. We're keeping a very close eye on Bloomington Normal, though, as it's so close to it. Wapella, Waynesville, you're all in the line of thinking that this could impact your area. It could roll through your neighborhood. No other warnings yet that I see, so that's good news. But scattered cells are popping up left and right here. One east of Beardstown and one east of Havana. Heavy rain falling all the way from Galesburg all the way up toward Chicago. So it is a very active day that we've had so far. I'm just going to check some other things here on my computer. See if we have any more storm reports. Not seeing anything, so it's always fun. So this tornado warning is going to be going until 5:15 p.m. Still affecting parts of Logan and McLean County. We have that southwestern part of McLean County, northeastern part of Logan County. Unless this is continued a little bit further off to the east, which if it is, then it's going to be done pretty shortly here. because most of this has already cleared the warning box. Still treating this like there's a tornado on the ground, either crossing I-55 or has just crossed that corridor. Let's see if we can actually... Yeah, there's probably still something. Funnel cloud tornado on the ground from what I'm seeing here. You got that wraparound feature with the green touching the red. Not a good sign. So Atlanta, you're in the clear. Hayworth, you could be under the gun here in a little bit from this tornado warning, but you will nonetheless see this storm. It's now approaching. You're probably hearing the thunder. You're probably seeing the lightning outside your window. So be thinking about what you're going to do if you are in that tornado warning here shortly. Same goes for Waynesville and Wapella. I want to point out some more locations. If we can get the ground speed of this again, this warning box needs to be redrawn because what I'm seeing here doesn't have any immediate danger left in Atlanta and some other communities. So this is going to be reconfigured in the next couple minutes. McLean, you still need to be in your safe spot, and if you live around that area as well. I'm going to take a quick look here. It's raining about 1 inch an hour, so that's enough to cause flash flooding if this continues on for much longer. We have that flash flood watch issued for much of the viewing area from all the rain that we've received. The ground can't take any more. These types of cells produce a lot of rainfall, and you can get an inch or two of rain very quickly when it's raining that hard, when you have the downdrafts as strong as they are. Seeing if we have anything else here, just bear with me. This needs to be, the Weather Service is making a decision whether to continue this warning or not. That area rotation, though, is just to the west of Hayworth. See if there's any debris. Not really seeing any debris being lofted in the air anymore, so I'm wondering what their decision is going to be. I wonder if this is going to be expired or to keep it going. So we'll wait a few minutes to determine what's going to happen with that. It's getting closer to this severe thunderstorm warning, so we're starting to see all these cells popping up. Okay, we got a new warning here. They still have the tornado warning for parts of McLean and Logan counties, but they decided to go with a severe thunderstorm warning as this particular cell gets into DeWitt and other parts of McLean County. This warning box here covers all the way to Leroy, Rutledge, and Farmer City. So you're not in a tornado warning anymore. There could be another tornado warning issued because this storm has been packing a punch with high winds, and the tornado was on the ground at some point. There was also a report of at least baseball-sized hail from this. So we're seeing two cells really at this point making their way toward the east and northeast around 25 miles per hour forward speed. I guess the danger is dropping from what I'm seeing here, so that's good news. The information's coming in showing us that there's not really much of a need for this tornado warning to be extended. That can all change in a flash, so monitoring that. But McLean, Atlanta, you're all in the clear now because this is past you. That warning needs to expire. You might still be dealing with some gusty winds, but okay, that warning has expired. We'll see it drop out here in just a second. Good news there. That tornado warning is done. It just hasn't showed up yet. So other cells to watch would be the one there in Mason County. Just going to check that real quick. We'll get off here shortly. not really seeing anything notable. Okay, so that warning, that tornado warning is over. It's going to drop out here in just a minute or so. I'm already seeing that the Weather Service canceled it. So if you're just now joining us, or maybe you've been with us the whole time, we've been tracking that tornado warn cell for over an hour and a half now. We're going to jump off here just a second. We still have that severe thunderstorm warning for parts of DeWitt and McLean County till 5:45 p.m. If it becomes a tornado warning again, we'll jump back on here, make sure you know the threats and the dangers involved, and we'll keep you safe. But for now, thanks for joining us, and we'll take you back to regular scheduled programming.